We talked about Seki a long time ago, and you remember that it looks something like this. But you just learned about Nakade shapes, and I want to show you why it's important to remember them and how they can be very useful in games. Take a look at this. It's Black's turn, but what's going on here? Is Black alive or dead? What about those 3 white stones in the middle? We can use our knowledge of Nakade shapes and play here. And now we find ourselves in a very interesting situation. It seems that Black is going to die. In fact, if Black tries to capture these stones, we know what's going to happen. Black captures, and we know the shape. White's going to play in the middle, and Black dies. However, what if Black doesn't capture those stones? How is White going to kill then? Of course, White can take the outside liberties like this and like this, but what next? If White tries to Atari this way, we know this shape. After Black captures, this is a living shape. This doesn't work for White. So bring it back. What if White plays Atari like this? And again, we know the shape. Black will capture, and it's a living shape once again. Now we can go back, and it turns out that after Black plays here, neither side can attack. Does that sound familiar? That's a Seki. So neither Black nor White has any points here. The position is going to stand like this for the rest of the game, and it will be counted as neutral territory at the end. But it's important to understand the geometry of this Nakade shape, because Black has to take this point. If Black takes some other point, for example this one, it doesn't work the same way. Now, Black is dead. Let's prove it. Once again, White can take the outside liberties like this. Then this will be Atari. And after Black captures, this is a shape that we know. White plays in the middle and Black dies. So there's only that single move right here that makes this shape attack resistant. And all of that thanks to Nakade. Now let's see one more example where a similar concept is used. This is one more classic position. Black just built this small group at the bottom, and now Black plays here. Now try and use your knowledge of Nakade shapes to make Seki here. White to play. It's clear that these are the 2 points that Black wants to take to make 2 eyes here. Once we know that, it's easy. We take any one of them, let's say play here. Black has to block from the outside. And another one. Again, Black has to disconnect. And now, just connect the stones. And we find ourselves in the same situation as here. Once again, if Black captures these 3 stones, Black will die, but Black is not going to capture. And White can't take those 2 points either, because this will result in a living shape for Black. So, nobody will play there. And this shape is once again a Seki. Now as a bonus, I want to show you one more example where the knowledge of Seki can be used to produce unusual results. Take a look at this. Imagine that this is an endgame position, and Black wants to reduce the white corner. The obvious move here would be to push inside, White blocks, and White gets 4 points of territory. But what if I told you that Black has a much better move here? Why don't you try and find it first? This is quite tricky, but once you realize that White doesn't have so many liberties, Black can play inside the corner. White doesn't really have much choice. White can't play anything else allowing Black to connect back. White would just die. So White has to cut it off. And now Black plays here, making an eye in the corner. Is this an eye? It looks like an eye. White would like to Atari here, but White can't. This is a self-Atari. Black will capture. Of course, Black can't Atari here either. So if nobody can occupy the central point, then it means this is a Seki. And as always, none of these points will belong to anybody. All of this will be counted as neutral territory at the end of the game. Remember how White got those 4 points in the first attempt? Well, Black just stole them. By the way, you can also watch these lessons on our platform, gomagic.org. Except there, you'll watch them with interactive quizzes right within the lessons and practical exercises right after them. And if you enjoy watching these Go videos and you don't want to miss others like this one, go smash that like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and this is Go Magic.